It's the summary.
I love summary episodes. I'm excited. First one of the season. Thank you for coming back from our replay reviews. My name is Leah.
And my name is Kathy.
We are two friends who are here to replay, review, and analyze your favorite video games. And since Kathy has never seen the games before, it helps me view them through her fresh eyes, almost like I'm discovering them again for the first time.
We hope it'll be a similar experience for you. Topic 1, burning questions. So the first one is, what was Wei's true mission? Revenge or law and order?
Yeah, so basically, what do you think Wei's real reason for doing this was? Was it more for revenge from what happened to his sister, or is he actually, as a cop, wanting to take down the triad?
What did you say?
Well, we see Wei do a lot of things that are pretty far outside the scope of what I think we would all consider acceptable police work. Mm-hmm. And, for example, he assists in revenge for Mrs. Chu when he captures Johnny the Ratface. He even kind of self-admits guilt when he turns off the bug that's in the golden koi. And he also delivers Dog Eyes to the same fate. And even on the way to deliver him to her, he says something along the lines of he would like to do it himself. And I almost feel like he sort of uses Mrs. Chu to keep his hands slightly more clean in getting rid of Dog Eyes. I mean, he had motive with Mimi's history. I don't know if even he really knew what his true reasons for doing this were. I think he wants to be a cop, a good cop, but I think he doesn't have the, emotional intelligence to not allow himself to indulge in the criminal side of things.
I think that's fair. For me, it's like a mix of half and half, that he's the law and order enough that he doesn't get in trouble again. But the revenge isn't necessarily for his sister, because we would have heard something saying that this is for Mimi, or get more of a storyline of it. I think it's revenge for the people he's become brothers with, in a way. Like for Winston, for Jackie. So I feel like it's revenge for the people he cares about, but not for Mimi, which is terrible, because I feel like had they fleshed the storyline more, they could have done more with it.
I see it more as, and there is a little bit more brought up in the case files that we'll read. I see your point, and especially with Jackie, but with the rest of it, I almost wonder if he uses the brotherhood betrayal more as an excuse to do what he does for Mimi. Because I really think Mimi's at the heart of it, because Dog Eyes says, he mentions her every time that they interact. So I feel like, at least for the Dog Eyes murder assist, accomplice to murder, I feel like for that one, Mimi's at the heart of it. But for the rest of it, is it just pent up rage because of what happened to his family, or is it what happened to his new family?
So moving on to question 2.
What will Wei do next? We know Teng's quote, where she says, which Hong Kong, referencing, are you going to be triad, or are you going to be law enforcement? So, what do you think, Kathy?
I think it's going to be law enforcement, but doing some undercover work. Or maybe he's going to take over Raymond's job of being a supportive handler for another undercover agent. Ultimately, he would be involved with the Sun On Yi in some way, of just trying to continue to maintain, I guess, a cleaner and healthier Hong Kong in a way. He has the connections with Sister Jiang, and from the ending, we know Sister Jiang and Pockmark still see him with some level of respect. So maybe using that type of relationship that he already has, he can try to support making Hong Kong a cleaner place, with and minimizing the drug trafficking, the sex trafficking, keeping people like Sunny Wo out of the city. So he would be in the law enforcement with some kind of engagement with the triad.
My answer, it kind of contains your answer, but Wei staying in Hong Kong It just seems like a bad idea. Him saying it feels like home is bad for him. He's potentially made enemies on both sides of Hong Kong. And in my opinion, the best thing for him is to just leave. He doesn't have anyone left, really. Jackie's dead. Everyone else is dead, other than Teng and Jiang. Which we could see that set up the same situation once again later down the line. You know, maybe Teng or Raymond move up the ranks and need a way to help control the triad. Those are loyalties he's made on one side. On the other side, he helped Jiang get to where she is, running the triad. That's another loyalty he's created. He'll just always be stuck here if he doesn't move on. That's how I see it. If he doesn't pick a side, eventually he's like dead. You know, I think it's just going to be the same situation. We saw how that wore him down. We saw how many times his life was in danger. I really think the best thing for him is to just get out of Hong Kong.
I agree with you because it's the better option, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think he's too attached to all of it. He sunk so much into it, which is understandable. Okay, so question 3, final burning question. I believe this was yours. What happened to Raymond? Do you want to start it off?
Yeah, according to the Sleeping Dogs Wikipedia fan page, which don't come at me for my sources, he probably becomes a superintendent. But if I didn't read that information and didn't know, I actually thought that he would be arrested because of his... Hear me out.
We have such opposite opinions of Raymond. It's amazing. I'm excited. Continue. Sorry.
I just don't trust him. Yeah, so he would probably be arrested because he knew Pendrew was doing all that stuff. He didn't seem like he had a backbone to report something to Internal Affairs of what Pendrew was doing and help collect evidence. He would be like guilty by association, in my opinion, with knowing what Pendrew doing nothing about it, and just still giving way so much crap when Way's trying to do the right thing. Like, I know he tried to redeem himself towards the end, but still, it's not enough.
It's just so funny that we have such different opinions of him, because I don't think he ever did anything wrong. I don't think he knew about Pendrew being crooked until, like, the last chapter of the game. And it sounds like he did test the waters on blowing the whistle, but knows that Pendrew's the only one that they listen to. I think Raymond is just a by-the-book cop, which led to headbutting with Wei, which leads to us not liking him at first. Because he is kind of annoying when he's treating Wei like that, but I don't think he's crooked. As far as what happened to him, I said nothing much. I think there's a good chance he took over Pendrew's position, as he was on Wei's side when he discovered Pendrew was crooked. Wei having the irrefutable evidence to prove it means Raymond can back him up and be recognized for his proper work.
I could see that.
He probably just got moved up, but probably pretty mild story for Raymond.
Yeah. I see your side of the argument. I just don't trust the man. I could see that even if he's by the book and everything, the vibes aren't right, in my opinion.
Well, and you can be too by the book, which maybe that's where our signals are crossed, because he was by the book, but the one giving him the book was Pendrew for a large portion of this game. So when a crooked cop is giving you the rules, you're following the rules, but the rules are broken. All right, moving away from burning questions into topic number 2. This is all about the canceled sequel. What would it have been? Would it have been good? And if we had our way, what would the sequel be? So point 1. What research did you find about the sequel?
So again, Wikipedia being my source, it talked about a continuation of where the game ended, and it picks up when Wei ends up having a corrupt partner, Henry Fang, and it's set in the Pearl River Delta, still in China. There's going to be some new component of the game talking about a second screen app for mobile devices that the player would be able to interact with the world within the game. And then you'd play as the Inspector Teng. So I guess you have 2 parts to it. You also like work as the police force and control the territories, and then you make your choices as Wei.
I mean, that's pretty much what I found. Yeah, Wei's still a cop, which I guess this answers our question about what Wei would do next. Seems he would stay in Hong Kong, but move to a different area, at least, and continue to be a cop. A few sources I found said he was no longer undercover, just a straight-up cop, but others said that he still would be undercover. And yeah, it sounds like there's Wei, and there's his corrupt partner, and you would have played as both characters in their own stories, which would have affected each other, which sounds pretty cool. One of the ideas, the cloud data thing of the level of criminal activity in the city is based off of other players' actions and like averaged out. That's such a cool idea where everyone affects the same world. I think that's a great idea. And then, yeah, playing as Teng on the mobile device piece of it, they're doing too much with that one, I think. I would love to see Teng, but I'd rather her be in the game than like a mobile app. What do you think? Would it have been good based off of what we found?
Similar to you, I think it would have been exciting, but I'm worried that they're trying to do too much, and then you'd end up having to cut things like Heavy Rain, where then you have a game that doesn't quite make sense because of the way you're cutting things. I also don't think it would have been a great idea to have another corrupt partner for Wei, because it's just like repeating the whole Pendra storyline where you have someone corrupt, and even though Tang wasn't and Raymond wasn't, still, like, it's too similar. If I could write our own sequel to it, it would be more towards what happened to the 18K, because I don't think it just ends with Big Smiley. I think there's more of it. I feel like we just didn't get a really good conclusion of it. So it could be like one of the, like, a new member within 18K decides to seek revenge, and it's Wei fighting for his life. So it's not about the HKPD and police work. It's about Wei just trying to deal with the aftermath of taking down the Sun On Yi. And then maybe his partner could be named, instead of Henry, like Will, because where there's a will, there's a way.
You were waiting for that. You were waiting to say that. Okay. Well, I do agree that I would like to see more fallout from what he did. I also agree that another corrupt partner is kind of odd. Maybe that intermingling two storylines would have been better for the first game. And maybe instead of a corrupt partner, it's more like another undercover cop. The other undercover cop turns against the police and Wei has to get him back, or, you know, something like that. Something where it's more like ingrained in the triad. Speaking of like the fallout of what happened, I would have liked to see the Tang / Raymond versus Jiang loyalties. I want to see how he struggles with that. And what are the repercussions for him helping somebody rise up in the triad, you know? Because did he do that as a cop, or did he do that to take down people to get revenge? So that's what I would like to see, is how would Wei balance those two loyalties?
I agree, because if they make a new game, Sleeping Dogs, and then Fallout, that would be so much more fun than to have him do the same thing over again, slightly different storyline. Having him just a continuation would be so much smoother in terms of the timeline and the way they can kind of reuse the same characters of having Raymond there, Tang there, Sister Jane. Like, that continuation would be so perfect. But unfortunately, we'll never know.
So topic 3, we read through some of the reports. I think you were focusing on Raymond. Did you find much?
No, I didn't find much. I think from his perspective, his reports, because he wrote some, there's that. But there really isn't much besides him just really not supporting Wei being the undercover agent.
Man, I was hoping you'd find your answers about his backstory.
I know, I wanted that, but they just don't care about him.
They don't. So I was more focusing on Wei. Just to summarize the multiple evaluations of him, he's very smart, he was a great student, but his association with criminals led to some behavioral issues. Wei is also identified as a chameleon, as he grew up without one singular cultural identity, as they put it. And the reviewer states that this makes him an excellent choice for adapting to his undercover positions, but that his lack of identity may lead to him becoming too attached. And their quote is, "If the chameleon is left too long in a given environment, he may forget his original color. Controlling officers must be careful to ensure that Shen's first loyalty is the police department, and that the chameleon doesn't change permanently." So I feel like this has some implications on why Raymond treated Wei so harshly. If he's reading this report, he's scared of Wei flipping. Does that change any of your perspective on Raymond at all?
I'm not surprised he had that type of assessment just because of the way he acted in the game.
Yeah.
I know he's by the books kind of guy. It doesn't say anything about his character, though.
No. I think it just gives us a reason as to why he was so controlling with Wei. But later, a revised psych evaluation states that Officer Shen remains fully aware of who he is, his role as an undercover officer, and the rule of law. But then at the end of this report, there's a note that says, "Do not show to HKPD union lawyers or defense counsel. Analyst biased." So I don't know who wrote this report, but the first psych report was some person I've never heard of, like Christina or something. So I don't know who the biased officer is.
Maybe she was just cut from the final cut. Because otherwise I feel like this is just fluff. There's nothing important to it.
It does almost sound like a scrapped storyline of Wei, in a way, infiltrating the police department. I don't know. It just seems important, but we don't understand. We didn't get all the information. Point 2 about Wei is San Francisco. So this is where we learn what actually happened in San Francisco, Kathy. It was in 2010. The police found a body. It looked like he had been pretty brutally attacked and then shot in the head. Internal Affairs received a confidential tip that Wei was the murderer, and that he did so because this person gave Mimi a fatal dose of heroin.
I'm curious who ratted him out. I mean, not implying that Wei did do it.
Yeah, it sounds like Wei was undercover in a gang called Teng at the time. Wei had reported the incident and the evidence of his sister's death, but it was ignored. They quickly figured out that he was an undercover officer. It's a little more than I was expecting. It's more backstory than I was expecting us to get.
I think it's great, but I don't know if it adds necessary information to the whole game. Like all this backup information about his sister and everything. I feel like we already know enough.
Yeah, well, it's optional information.
Mm-hmm.
It's an optional read.
Yeah.
But I think what it does is it gives just more understanding for why Wei acts the way he does. So in this same news article, there's a quote where they say, "What's different this time is that 2 of the key suspects may, in fact, be undercover police officers." And then later, there's a quote from the SFPD spokesperson who said, "This kind of rumor mongering and suspicion has no place in respectable journalism." So a couple takeaways for me is, it sounds like there's more than one undercover police officer, which to me makes this sound like a good idea for a prequel. But also the PD denied it. Do you think maybe someone at the SFPD maybe wrote Wei's psych evaluation, the one that was marked biased?
Yes.
It's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a reason, if I said no, why it wouldn't be. And I can't think of a reason why it wouldn't be.
Anything else that you want to go over in the reports?
Mm-mm.
All right, then. Everybody's favorite topic. Are you ready for the KFC
Yes.
awards?
KFC, Kathy's favorite character. The first one, Stale Biscuit. So these are people that I don't like or are just stale in personality, bland. Kind of mix of both. Just people I don't like.
Why are they there kind of characters?
Yeah, pretty much. So I have a list you can choose from. I won't give you a
Mm-hmm.
list for the other ones just because they're a lot smaller, but this one was, as I was typing it out, I was like, the list was growing. So I narrowed it down to 1, big smiley. 2, those ladies talking about his flower pot that was missing. 3, Sunny Woe. 4, King. 5, Pendrew.
Okay, Big Smiley I feel like is too evil. He's too much of a villain to be stale. I think the pot ladies, I had some laughs at them. So I'm going to cross them off the list. Who is next? Sunny?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we hate him too much. Same with Pendrew. So I think it has to be King.
King was really close. I almost chose King, but ultimately I just couldn't get over how disgusting Sunny is and just kind of like stale biscuits. No one wants them. So I did
true.
go back to choosing Sunny, but you were close. Okay, second category is KFC. So the KFC.
Kathy's favorite character.
I'm not going to give you a list.
Okay. Well, I feel like an obvious one would be Wei. And then we have Jackie. Mrs. Chu and Peggy, I feel like, could be in the running. As well as Teng. I'm gonna guess... Ooh, I'm between Mrs. Chu and Teng, but I think I have to say Teng.
Oh, okay. I could see why you said that, but I actually put Jackie on it. I don't think I would typically would have put Jackie on it, but his one really redeeming moment that gave me that Shinji vibes from Yakuza Kiwami was when he was just so genuinely excited for Wei becoming a Red Bull. I feel like that just certified him to being one of my favorite characters because that moment was just really sweet.
It was. Jackie was cool.
So moving on to the third one, post-game Kentucky Scorcher. So these are a character that I think is good looking. And I am biased. This is the whole point of doing it, a post-game and I guess like a blind Kentucky Scorcher.
Yes.
But again, I'll let you choose who you think I chose.
The obvious answer is Wei. But I feel like you don't usually pick the obvious answer.
I know.
Let us not forget Heavy Rain. Go back and
stop.
watch that episode.
It wasn't my fault.
I'm gonna go with the obvious answer and say Wei.
Oh no, you shouldn't have. I actually chose Pockmark. He just seems like so cool, calm, and collected on the outside. The way he carries himself just makes him even better looking, I guess.
I
So,
see it.
yeah,
I see it.
I thought it was going to be a close call between Wei and Pockmark, but just the way he carries himself is so much better than Wei, so.
Well, I guess we need to go back to a month ago to see who you picked out of the list I gave you. Pockmark was not on that list. I provided you pictures of Raymond, Conroy, Winston, Wei, Ricky, and Jackie. The notes that you left me. You said I have to go with 4, which is Wei. He's looking the least thug-like. The tats peeking out also looks good. Number 5, that's Ricky, isn't bad looking, but number 4 beats him as the blind Kentucky Scorcher. However, I think 5 looks to be a relative of number 4 because of the similar hairstyles and jawlines. Also, why does number 3 give off Mad Jack vibes from Heavy Rain? That's Winston. Oh, Mad Jack. Aiming for the peen every time. Poor Jaden.
I think it would have been so ironic if I chose Raymond as my blind KS.
Can you imagine?
Terrible.
You would hate it.
I gotta ask you, who would your KS be?
I mean, Wei. It would have to be Wei.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is too, like, roided up.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Well, if you put Pockmark in it, you would get some more balance.
Yeah, a little more contention there.
What about LFC, Leah's favorite character?
My favorite character. I don't know. I kind of like Uncle Po, but I think he's kind of stupid at the end. Because, like, he let people basically just attack him. I think I kind of like Conroy, though, because he's the only one that could sniff out Wei was a cop until he did enough to earn his trust. But I like Conroy because Winston is an ass to him, but he stays loyal. And yeah, he was on to Wei. I feel like that deserves some credit. Conroy deserves some credit. I'm really excited to see all your blind picks as the season goes on.
I'm really nervous.
So far, we have had 0 instances of you not changing after you know about the characters' personalities.
If you put Pockmark in it, I may have chose him, but it's very unlikely.
But look, I'm going to go extra hard this season on KFC. In case you haven't listened before, KFC is Kathy's favorite character, but obviously it's also chicken. And that's why our categories are things like stale biscuit, Kentucky Scorcher, which now I think is just called a chicken sandwich. But I really, really want one of their chicken warming game consoles. I really want one. And I'm trying so hard this year to get their attention. I hope you're ready, KFC. Get the Colonel situated, because he's going to have some company. I want one. Please. I'm asking nicely first.
And if not, Leah's going to go Tanya Harding on you, so be prepared for your kneecaps.
Did you know she ate in our Denny's?
No, she
or
did?
the Elmers, maybe? One of those, yeah.
I think it was like the Elmers. That sounds familiar.
I think there's a whole table where they're like, here's the Tanya Harding table. Let's Google it real quick. It was Elmer's.
Okay.
This Elmer's is where Tanya Harding made up her plan to kneecap the lady, the other lady. What is her name? I feel like we should say her name because she's the victim.
It's like Nancy something.
Yeah.
Nancy Kerrigan.
Yes. This is where the plan was hatched.
That's crazy.
So our Elmer's is famous. I don't know how we got there, but I'm never going to let you forget Heavy Rain.
Ugh,
never.
Stop it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, moving on.
Final topic.
Final topic.
These are the stats and or tallies, counts. I did not tell you what I was tracking because I feel like you can also track it a little too easily. So I kept you in the dark this time. So I'm going to have you guess. There were 2 stats. What do you think the first one was?
Headshots or pedestrian pancakes? I'm going to do PPs.
Yes. There were PPs in this game. Pedestrian pancakes. Go back and watch or listen to our Mafia section. What do we call it? Analysis?
Yeah.
I don't know. Go back to the Mafia playthrough, I guess. You'll learn about PPs. But they're pedestrian pancakes. This is how many times I ran over a person. So, how many pedestrian pancakes do you think there were?
I feel like you had 2 to 4 each part. So if there's 5 parts, I feel like 20 is too high, but at the same time, a lot of people are flying out of your way. Say 18? Is that too low or too high?
Too high.
Too high. Ooh. 9?
10.
Ooh.
10
Okay.
PPs.
My guessing in the past games have been pretty darn terrible.
No, maybe it was Outlast. There was one game where you were really close.
Yeah. And there's one game I was really not close.
But would you like to guess the second stat of the game?
I feel like it has to do with some kind of fighting. I want to say how many people you killed, but it's too generic. I've been thinking about this for a while, too.
Good.
I still don't know. I think it's going to be headshots.
It was not headshots.
Okay, let me guess again.
I did enjoy tracking that, though.
Number of times you leaped out of a car.
No. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Do you remember in the episode, I think it was maybe part 3, in one of the episodes, I said I was waiting for you to notice something, and you never brought it up.
Oh yeah, you did tell me, but I never realized what it was.
So I don't think you noticed it.
No,
Do you want to make another guess, or are you at a loss?
I'll make another guess. It's not boob physics because we did talk about that topic. Right?
Why'd you move
Shortly
like
after. What?
Why'd you move like the boobs do when you said that?
Oh yeah. It's demonstrating for you. Give me a hint. Does it have to do with humans or inanimate objects?
It has to do with humans. It's something that you hear around the town.
Like cursing? The number of times they go pokai or...
Nope. I think you're out of guesses.
Yeah.
I think you're out. It was coughs.
Oh!
What? I can't believe you never noticed this one NPC is everywhere. And he's coughing constantly. I'll find a clip for you.
Please do. Tell me. Because I didn't notice that at all. I mean, obviously you know that I didn't notice it. But...
It was driving me crazy editing. Go to part 4.
Okay.
Go to 1628. This guy is everywhere. I cannot believe you didn't notice it. Especially because you hate it when people cough.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I didn't realize that. But it's like, the thing too is that I went to Hong Kong twice before. And it is very not unusual to find old dudes coughing in the street without covering their mouth. I think it's disgusting. But I'm not surprised it happens. And so I maybe... Because I know it happens, I tuned it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why I wouldn't notice it.
That makes sense. What you're saying just reminded me of when my family went to Disneyland and we were in line for Pirates of the Caribbean and it smelled a little stinky, like sewagey maybe. And these 2 Chinese guys behind us, one of them went, "Oh, it smells like Hong Kong."
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Hong Kong does give off the LA scent.
So would you like to guess the total number of throughout this game?
I didn't hear it, so I don't know at all. If I do 18, I'm worried that's too high.
Is that a guess?
I feel like it's less than 18. I'd say 12.
Is that your final answer?
Ugh, it's either 7 or 12, but I'm going to do 12. Don't tell me it's 40 something.
Should have stuck with 18.
Was it 18?
It was 19.
Ah!
19 times this guy coughed in our ears and you didn't notice.
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't. I'm so used to it, I guess. And the thing is, my dad being from Hong Kong also coughs like that sometimes, or my uncle.
Did he record it for them? Did he record the cough?
He gets paid every time they use his audio.
Well, I thought sure you would pick up on it.
I can't believe I didn't pick up on it.
Well, I'm going to have to think of
Good
some
golly.
good stats to keep you in the dark in for the next game.
I don't like it.
I liked you not knowing. It was fun.
I didn't. Because I know you've been watching me, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly I'm supposed to be looking for.
Well, now you know. You have an idea of what I might track. So we'll see if you figure it out for the next game. Mm-hmm. Speaking of, anything else that you want to say to finish out Sleeping Dogs?
No. Yeah. Overall, I did really enjoy this game. I know in the past we were on a good run for games that I liked. I think the ending is acceptable, but if Wade died in the end, like backstabbed by Sister Jiang, I don't think I would have minded it because everything did tie up well in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the torture scene though. It still bugs me. Hits too close to home with Tachibana from Kiwami.
Oh,
But overall, I
Tachi.
really like the game. I really am grateful that my brother-in-law told me to have us play this game because it feels like a great warm blanket with all the Cantonese speaking in the background. So I liked it. If they do a sequel, we have to come back to it.
They better do a sequel. They'll do it just for us, because we have such a massive pull on the gaming community.
Well, the thing is, they said there's going to be a movie to it, and it's not happening. But honestly, I feel like the casting isn't right. They shouldn't have casted Donnie Yen for that. He's great for everything else, but not for this role.
I'm really excited for the next game. I really think you're going to like it.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to have an obscure quote in our outro for the next game. If you can guess what it is, message us on Instagram, on our website, email us. All our contact info is readily available in the description. You'll win something. I think we'll send you like a copy of the game and maybe a fun little thing on from Etsy that has to do with the game. So what's stopping you? Anything else? Or should we sign off?
We'll sign off here. Let's do Audacity on 1, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to send in any questions, comments, or game suggestions. You can find all our contact info on our website, replayreviewspod.com, or contact us directly through our site.
Did we completely miss something? Are we way off the mark? Or you just want us to take a deeper look at anything from the game? We'll tackle any topics you all want to hear in our season wrap-up episode.
We also have a Reddit where we discuss anything we're curious about. Go take a look and let us know what you're thinking. Think you can guess which game is up next based on this obscure quote?
They're going to destroy me.
Message us on Instagram or contact us through our website to see if you're right. Our theme music is Condemned by Eggy Toast. They'll play you out, and we'll be back next week with a new game.